Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you another video. All right, good news. Bron is not playing tonight. Yeah, I didn't misspeak. Good news. We're definitely happy that LeBron James is not going to risk his health in the first preseason game. I'm very happy about that. For me, it's all about the regular season. And so anytime LeBron James is playing any preseason game, it's a risk that something could go wrong with his health. So while we do want to see him out there to some degree in the preseason, continuity is important and all of that, but not nearly as important as us in cutting down the risk of him getting injured before the season even begins. He's going to be 40 in December, you guys, and him playing extra basketball just so that people can feel good about themselves is probably not the better way to go. To be honest with you, I don't think we need him out there, but probably about first 5 minutes of each preseason game any damn way. Same thing with Anthony Davis. If anything, we just want to give minutes to our young guys. We want to give minutes to our guys who are 100% coming back from injury at this point, and the hopefuls of the roster, and try to figure out which one of them is going to be best for JJ's intentions upon the season. Starters don't need to play like that. I mean, I think we're down some of those hopefuls, and some of the young guys are not going to be available. Jalen Hood-Schifino was on the injury report, but listening to people talk about the Lakers today, I don't know if they didn't see the injury report or if the injury report is just, precautionary and they're probable or something like that. But Jalen Hood-Schifino and Cam Reddish are still listed, from what I last checked, on the injury report. So I don't know if Jalen's going to play or not, but he could potentially be not available as a young guy. Koloko could potentially be not available as a young guy as well. So that right there is two of the players that you would likely see more of in the preseason. So what that may mean is more Austin Reeves, more Rui Hachimura, more Gabe Vincent than probably you would want to see in a preseason situation, especially if Bron ain't out there. But I do expect to see a lot of, Castleton, Traore, Max Lewis, somebody I forgot to mention this morning. I expect to see a lot of him. Obviously, Bronny. Obviously, Dalton. Max Christie. That's who I expect to see a lot of tonight. And so that's ultimately my expectations. I do expect Gabe Vincent and Rui and Austin will play, but I would prefer they not play in the second half, that kind of thing. Maybe let them play a little bit each quarter, but sit them, keep their minutes down, play the hopefuls more. That's what I want our Lakers to do. And I think at the end of the day, if I'm being completely honest with you guys, I'm not all that comfortable going into this particular game. And its reason is because of what I just said. We do have ourselves down some of the players that ultimately are supposed to be playing the most minutes. I don't want Austin and Rui and all those guys out there too much. But it looks like we're going to have to lean on them just out of the sheer nature of everybody being hurt. Vando's hurt. You know what I mean? If Jalen ain't out there, somebody got to play his minutes. Obviously, Koloko, as we already mentioned. Now, Bron is down. You know what I mean? Just by default, because we're running out of bodies, we may actually have to play AD a little more than we would ever want to play him in the preseason. I think, if I'm being honest with you, I'm a little frustrated at the fact that we have so many players who are not developed. Well, that's not the word. Not proven. Guys who otherwise need to be playing more preseason, not available. How do we have so many dudes that we don't even know if they're gonna make the team, and they ain't even there to make? They're not there to play. You know what I mean? So it's like, yo, what are we doing? What are we doing? We're starting the season with 4 or 5 guys not playing in the first preseason game. This Vanderbilt, Christian Wood, not there. You know what I'm saying? And so that to me is a little irritating. If anything, I guess that's the word. I'm irritated by that. I don't think many teams in the league today around the association have that problem. Most of the people who are hurt are main guys, which is, I guess, a worse thought when you consider it, but not when you got preseason just beginning. You want them other dudes to be available to play 35 minutes or whatever. And those other dudes for us, they're out. Like, some of them are out. So that is a bit on the frustrating side. But Hopefully, Jalen Hood-Schifino is able to play. Uh, Hopefully, they make him a game time decision or something, so he can get all the minutes in the world, because he didn't play in the summer league. Obviously, we haven't seen him since February or something like that. And when we did see him, we only saw him at a small amount of time. We saw him in the G League. Most people weren't watching the G League. You know what I mean? So it's like we don't really know who we have there in Jalen, and his teammates are raving about him. His coach is raving about him. I want to see what he looks like. I want to see what he looks like in a point guard role, which is something Darvin wasn't able to, chose not to give him. You know what I mean? So that's important to me. Get Jalen out there, let him run all game long, all preseason long. Test the back out, test the body out, test the game out. Let him do whatever he's going to do, whatever mistakes need to be made. I would not be upset if we played Jalen more than we played D'Lo, more than Austin. I wouldn't be upset, because that keeps our team healthy when we run guys that are hopefuls in these situations. Castleton, Jalen Hood-Schifino, you know what I'm saying? Connect. Although I think Connect is probably a little more important than a regular rookie for us. But just the same. Run the young guys, man. Torrey, run the young guys. Run the rookies into the ground in the summer league. Keep our core healthy. Keep our rotation players healthy. Max Christie's going to need to play, though. Even though he's considered a role-playing, one of the main role players, he's going to need to play in the preseason a lot, in my opinion. Max Christie should be featured. Yeah, so Jalen Hood-Schifino, Max Christie, man. Definitely looking forward to seeing those two particular players specifically. Get them out there, let them run all day long. This game is in Pittsburgh, and it is a Laker home game. Pittsburgh. I don't know why the hell we're in Pennsylvania to start a preseason. That is the strangest thing in the world to me. But we're in Pittsburgh, and the one time Pittsburgh fans get a chance to see LeBron James, he's not going to play. So sorry to those guys who bought those tickets a month ahead of time, probably anticipating seeing LeBron James. He ain't playing. He ain't gonna play, Pitt. So that's one of the things, and some of them were probably, looking forward to seeing Henson, since Henson went to Pittsburgh College. Nah, he's with the Warriors. So there's a lot of stuff that make that kind of unfortunate for the people who will probably be in the stands tonight. I don't think any of them are Minnesota Timberwolves fans. I don't imagine there's too many of those in Pennsylvania. So yeah, whatever. But that is where it's going to be tonight, 7:30. And that's another thing. Pittsburgh, the game starts at 10:30 at night, a preseason game in a neutral site starting at 10:30 at night. That's why when I clicked on the link that said the name of the arena, and I don't remember what that arena the name was, I don't remember, but I clicked on it and it said Pittsburgh, and I'm like, and I had to click on it again. I'm like, is that a mislink? Is this game really in the West Coast? Because that makes so much more sense to me than it actually being in Pittsburgh for real. And having that game start at 10:30 at night. That is so strange to me. Very, very strange. I still question whether or not that link was sending me to the right spot, or maybe the name of that building, maybe there's two of them and they sent us the wrong one. I just can't see that game. I've never in my life seen an Eastern Conference game, regular season or preseason, start on West Coast time. Never seen that. Because who's gonna go to that? 10:30 at night? The game's not gonna end till 1 a.m. in Pittsburgh. I think that game may not actually be in Pittsburgh. But as far as the link, and that's what it said, we'll go by the link. That's what they said. So I don't know, man. But yeah, that doesn't. I don't know. Sometimes when you think independently, you wonder if certain things are actually what they say they are. That's one of those things. I still don't actually know where that game is, but they said it's in Pittsburgh, so there you go. But yeah, man, Max Lewis. I really am interested in seeing Max Lewis on the court tonight. He struggled in the preseason mightily. The summer league, mightily. And I really want to see his development process begin. I'm looking at him as a fresh rookie. Even though he played last year, same as Jalen Hood-Schifino, we got some guys to really develop this year, man. We really do. Bronny James, we got to develop these dudes. So that's going to be on the coaching staff and J.J. Redick to give these guys the opportunities that they need. Because, last year Darvin Ham didn't care nothing about developing anybody. If I'm being frank, the man didn't care nothing about that at all. And it's one of the reasons why we wanted him gone. And J.J. Redick Can't second that. We really need those guys to get opportunities. I understand this team is about Bron and AD, and I understand we got some guys that are ready to step into their prime. Rui Hachimura, D'Angelo Russell, Austin. You know what I mean? We know that these guys are ready to take on bigger roles and, probably want to be like the guys that this is also about along with Bron and AD. But for me personally, the goal of the season for me is to take all them young dudes and make them good rotational pieces or get them on the ball to understanding what they're going to be. So if they suck, we send them somewhere else because that's really important to me. I already know who Austin is. I already know who Rui is. But I need Max Christie, Max Lewis, Jalen Hood-Schifino, Bronny James, Colin Castleton, and to another point, Troy and Dalton Connect, even though I look at them as a little older. So they're kind of they're a little closer to Austin, Rui, D'Lo than they are Jalen, Bronny, you know what I'm saying, Max Lewis, Max Christie. The young guys are the ones that I need to see a lot of this year. Not just in the preseason, but anytime we can buy them an opportunity to play and get some run in and make their mistakes and have their big game whenever that's going to come, that is going to be what determines for me whether or not this is a successful season for this franchise. I'm being honest with you guys. And I know we're like, the Lakers win championships and make the playoffs. We ain't good enough to win a championship, so wherever we land at the end of the season, whatever it is, it's probably less than Larry O'Brien. The most important thing besides staying absolutely healthy with your core is turning those 5 or 6 guys into players that you either feel great about or understand that you shouldn't feel great about, however that goes. Now, I want to amend that by saying one season does not develop a player. In fact, it takes 4 to 7 seasons to develop a player. So you could give up on a guy too soon just because he didn't have a good year this year. That's something that I always want people to understand. But for us, we need to know what path we're on with some of these dudes, and we don't understand that yet. We don't have that understanding as of yet. That's what I'm saying. So yeah, who the hell is Max Christie? Really, I know we paid Max Christie, but that does not mean that his development is behind us. He never developed. Okay, just because you pay a guy early does not mean that's going to translate to him being what it is you need him to be. One name comes to mind: Jordan Poole. Didn't matter that you paid him all the money in the world. The guy still needed to develop. He still needed to be able to work some kinks out in his game. And people just automatically assume that just because he was at a certain point in his financial career, that automatically translated to him being ready to play ball at a high level. And you can't pay a guy into being playable. You can't do that. You can't. It's just like parents who raise a child, without teaching them certain things, and then when they reach a certain age threshold, automatically just understand everything. The parent in the parent's mind, like, why don't you know to do this, 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 and this? Well, you didn't teach me this, 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 and this. Yeah, but you're 18 years old. Yeah, but that doesn't mean I learned anything. You need to teach if you want me to know. And that is exactly what I have to say about Max Christie specifically. If you don't teach him, he ain't going to know. Throwing money at him ain't going to put that stuff in his head. It ain't going to make him used to nothing. For me, I don't give a damn that they paid Max Christie. That is a project, and he needs to be developed, and that is all there is to it. And we've done a horrific job of developing that piece. So you paying him, I don't want to hear, oh, well, he's not living up to the contract. That is a mistake on the franchise, not on the player. Ain't nothing wrong with his trajectory from here. You just got to understand that you paid him early, and that ain't his fault. That's yours. So that's what I got to say to the Lakers. Because I'm already hearing the rumblings about, oh, Max Christie's been paid now, so we want to. Nah, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Because y'all let that coach stay in place and didn't play that kid. And then you paid him all this money, and now you expect him to be ready to be your shooting guard, main backup shooting guard. He didn't get the minutes to develop like that. He didn't. So for me, his contract is irrelevant. It's about developing him just like you got to develop those other guys that I've mentioned. So yeah, Max Christie, Jalen Hood-Schifino, Bronny James, Colin Castleton, you know what I'm saying, Max Lewis. Give them the minutes, man. JJ. if you want to win us over, well, if you want to win over me, I can't speak for other Laker fans because everybody has their own thing. If you want to win me over, I want to see them dudes look good out there. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm looking at. Make them look good. If you can make them look good, I'm all on board. But if we still don't know who the hell they are by the end of the season, something went wrong. That's how it goes for me, man. Something went wrong. So that's what it's all about. Hopefully health permits, man. Health has a lot to do with that. With Jalen specifically, that had a lot to do with that. I know the GM agrees 100% because he drafted most of these dudes. You know what I mean? He brought them in on his merit from what I understand. So I know I'm in lockstep with Rob Pelinka when I say we need to see those young guys develop. And so, yeah, man, that's why I'm like, for me personally, I don't mind having Gabe Vincent on the roster. But I really want to focus in on developing those young guys. So if he's going to be getting in the way of that with his minutes, that kind of is a deterrent to what my goal is for this team, if I'm being honest with you guys. That's a deterrent to the goals that I personally have for our roster. I don't really care to see Gabe out there too much. I don't really care to see Christian Wood too much, unless it's purposeful in regards to lineups that make sense. I want to see more Traore. I want to see more Castleton. Jackson Hayes to a point, who also is going to continue to develop. But I have mixed feelings about Jackson Hayes entirely. On one hand, I'm really excited about what I saw from him last year because I think he had a really good year for the minutes given. On the other hand, I think he's at least getting up there to where I don't know if there's much upside from here. If there's much development to do, I think some of those limitations may be set in stone. He's still fairly young, but not like he's like Rui, you know what I mean, as far as age. Yeah, there could be more development to go, but he could also be done as far as the development process is concerned. So Jackson Hayes is one of those guys where it's like, if he looks good out there, if he can keep from fouling, if he can rack up the steals, the athleticism and the lob threat is there, I think he could be a great pick and roll running mate in certain situations for guys like Jalen Hood-Schifino and Austin Reeves. You know what I mean? I don't have any qualms with him in certain areas. I think he showed some really good stuff last year. But I'm just not sure where to slot him as it pertains to how many minutes I feel I want to give him in place of guys like Traore and Castleton. I'm just not certain. And Koloko when he gets down there. So that's where it gets a little tricky for me, Jackson Hayes. I just don't know if I should look at him like a young guy or if I should kind of have him in the Gabe Vincent side of things where I don't want to see you too much because you're in the way of our development. Not sure. Yeah, man, that's where my head is. That's honestly where my head is. I know our coach knows that player particularly well, so I'd imagine he's going to give him every opportunity to succeed. But just the same, he knows that player very well, so he understands his limitations and won't lean on him too much. That's what I'm counting on there in regards to JJ and Jackson Hayes. So, yeah, man, it's a lot of work ahead. The Lakers got a lot of work ahead. Even though we have an old core, we have a young surrounding of that core. And if we do not develop those players, it's gonna be to our detriment. And then the ceiling of our team collapses dramatically if those guys can't turn into something. So that's what I want to say. Yeah, man, give the young guys the minutes, and I think the Lakers will be better for it. So I don't know if that translates to us seeing some guys as expendable. Obviously, you look up and you see the trade that was just made from the Knicks and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Of course, we'll see the result of that today with Juju down there. You think maybe that might have opened up the market a little bit in terms of maybe somebody be willing to do some willing and dealing with us. But now that I listen to the details of what that circumstance actually was, it seems like the Knicks found a loophole. And they had to do some real gymnastics in order to make that loophole happen. And that's the only reason why that trade even went through. So all things considered, that's not a trade that can probably be made twice. You know, when you listen to the details of what's been reported, the Knicks were able to take advantage of some things that were only possible because of the offseason. So it's like I don't think it's any more maneuverable right now to make a trade than it was before the Knicks trade. I think the Knicks trade was an anomaly. So all I've said about trades being impossible damn near still stands. You just got to give credit to the Knicks for finding a very specific loophole that was time sensitive in nature and really, really tricky to pull off. And from there, the scrutiny that they're taking off from the league, from what I understand, is pretty substantial. The league was not happy that they were able to make that trade. So, I don't know, man. It seems like the league, the front office, and then the owners collectively don't want to see too much movement, which I think is a detriment to the overall enthusiasm around the league from the fans. I think we want to see trades. We grew up in the video game era. We like seeing guys move around fairly frequently. So I think you know, continuity is to be the benefit there. And I think you could potentially see better basketball, but some teams really do need to make trades to get good. Not every team needs to stay together. And sometimes it only takes a few pieces to move that makes your team good enough and overall makes the field better. So I think the NBA should tweak that collective bargaining agreement a little bit, if not a lot, and give us the flexibility of being able to see trades happen more frequently than it looks like they will be able to. As a fan, I want to see that. So that's what I want to say there. Don't expect trades, bro. Just don't expect it. So that's pretty much my thought, man. That's what they wanted to do. I wanted to make a little video here while I'm waiting on my clothes to dry. And, you know, we're looking forward to the game tonight at 7:30, apparently in Pittsburgh, at 10:30 at night in the eastern side of things. I don't get it. No Bron. And we're happy about it on this channel. I don't know how other people feel about that, but anytime Bron can sneak an opportunity to secure his health, it's a win. Literally, especially in the damn preseason, but even during the regular season, there are going to be times when he doesn't play, and I'm going to feel good about it because it's about him being healthy at the end of the year, not during the regular season. So when playoff time comes around, playing tournament time comes around, we need 100% Bron, or we're not going to do nothing. We're not going to do a dang thing. So that's pretty much what I got to say. My name is BDO44. I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.